tonight. As Donald Trump doubles down and adds more confusion to the tariff threat, the opposition is launching a buy local campaign. Also, Regina Exhibition Association Limited is asking the city for more money. Plus, Black-owned lounges in Regina offer a fusion of food, music, culture, and community.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Wednesday, February 26th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Hi there, thanks for watching. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to impose all kinds of tariffs on Canadian goods, but the when, where, and how is a little confusing. With all that looming, NDP leader Carla Beck is asking people to shop local. Helena Mahalik has more.
I'm here at SaskMade in Saskatoon, a marketplace for products made in our province. This is where NDP leader Carla Beck launched her Shop Local, Shop Sask campaign Wednesday morning. She's urging people to shop Saskatchewan businesses a week before U.S. tariffs could potentially come into play.
This is a call to action for all of us. And we also know that so many Saskatchewan people are already making a conscious effort to shop local, to support their neighbors, to support local businesses and Canadian-based businesses here at home.
Donald Trump's 30-day pause on his tariff threat is up next week. We still don't know if he plans to go ahead with them. Trump has threatened to impose a 25% tariff on all Canadian goods. His comments at a cabinet meeting in Washington Wednesday only added to the confusion.
I was going to do it on April 1st, but I'm a little bit superstitious, so I made it April 2nd. The tariffs go on. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
I think we all understand that this is an incredibly serious threat, whether we're talking about tariffs or threats that continue to be leveled around sovereignty. We can't take this lightly.
In the wake of Trump's tariff threats, Canadians have come together in a show of patriotic support, trying to limit their support of American products, travel, or food. Mark Diacu is the general manager of SaskMade. He says a push to shop local is a great thing for the province.
All of the money stays in the local community economy, or like literally when you buy things from our store here. Most of the businesses we work with are like small operations, like 1 to 5 people. And you're literally putting money into their pocket for them to help take care of their family and live their lives.
Meanwhile, Premier Scott Moe is in Washington right now, along with a group of Saskatchewan businesses and organizations. They're meeting with U.S. decision makers and business leaders, trying to make the case for no tariffs. Helena Mahalik, CBC News, Saskatoon.
A Saskatoon business leader and former deputy minister is selling his vacation home in Arizona. He says he can no longer live in Trump's America. And as Colleen Silverthorne reports, he's not the only one.
Dale Bodding is listing this house in Chandler, Arizona, and he has mixed emotions. For the past 45 years, he's been spending his winters here, golfing, visiting friends, and enjoying the warm weather. But he says with Donald Trump in power, the country feels increasingly unstable, and he wants to get his money out.
As an ethical investor, I just don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like to invest in governments that are becoming more authoritarian or more imperialistic. And we certainly see that.
As a trade expert and former deputy minister, Bodding is worried about looming tariffs. As well, he says there's been an ugly cultural shift in the States.
This Trump regime and this cultism that I do get a little worried about if it starts to spread. And I feel for Americans. I mean, I can go home, and I'm going to go home, and I'm going to help fight this trade war. But I worry about folks who are watching this increasing authoritarianism kick in almost every bloody night. The last 30 days have started to feel like 30 years.
Dale Bodding isn't the only Canadian looking to sell out of the States. I spoke to Laurie Levine, a realtor in Phoenix, and he says he's swamped with Canadian listings.
7 out of those 10 are listing because they just have had enough. They love coming here, and they're hoping that in 4 years from now, when the administration changes, that the climate will get a little bit different. But yeah, they've been feeling bullied and feeling the pinch of the Canadian dollar. So the bullying is kind of the last straw that broke the camel's back.
Levine says the tax accountant he works with is so busy with Canadian clients, it's hard to get in to see him.
He is totally swamped. So I'm not the only realtor that's feeling this with Canadians. He's booking 2 weeks out now, and normally I could get a client in to see him, within a couple of days.
Levine says some clients want to visit the States again next year, but this time only as renters. Botting says he's going to explore other parts of the world. Colleen Silverthorne, CBC News, Regina.
Regina Exhibition Association is once again asking the city of Regina for money, this time to the tune of $12 million. Real has faced significant financial issues since the pandemic and has a business model that doesn't make money. Last year, the municipal corporation received $17 million from the city. Real operates Mosaic Stadium, the Cooperator Center, and the Affinity Sportsplex. The CEO says they need the money, as much as $10 million to carry out repairs over the next 4 years.
We have old buildings and we have systems that are near failing. Monday night, I felt bad for our patrons. They had to wander past 25, 30 different pails scattered throughout our box office and entrance points because we had leaks.
City Council will decide on Real's funding next month. That's when City Council will finalize this year's municipal budget. The city police budget is one of the other big ticket items that needs to be decided. Council will also debate a proposed mill rate hike that could cost the average homeowner $27 a month or $320 a year. As temperatures started climbing in Regina this week, dozens gathered in Victoria Park Tuesday. They were there to remember those who didn't make it through the winter. Speakers from the Regina Street Team and Phoenix Society honored those who were homeless and didn't survive. Dozens of names were read out, followed by a moment of silence. For organizers, it was a moment to shed light on Regina's homeless experience and how devastating that can be.
It's sad that there has to be events like this, but they mean a lot to me because it gives a chance for the people who most times are nameless in society and forgotten about, just to be recognized. And even if that is for the fact that they passed away, at least they're not forgotten.
This was the 9th annual memorial. The number of homeless people in Regina does continue to climb. Last year, a point-in-time count reported the number of homeless people in the city has more than tripled since 2015. On Tuesday, the province announced new legislation meant to crack down on drug use and crime. Some are applauding the effort. Others say it's a short-sighted response. Dane Patterson has more.
The Saskatchewan government is planning to give police officers more authority and discretion on drug infractions. It ranges from hefty fines to revoking government benefits and driver's licenses of offenders. Those benefits are one of the issues that advocates are concerned about.
Because if people don't have opportunities to succeed, then there is only one solution for them, and that's to run further into the darkness.
For businesses, police can remove people from their property with fewer issues. They don't need permission. It's a welcome change for the Saskatoon Chamber of Commerce. In a statement, it says the changes remove the unfair onus on the owner or manager to address the immediate risks associated with these incidents, or from other areas police refer to as semi-public, like libraries, restaurants, or parks.
I don't like taking my children downtown and having them see open drug use. I don't like having them see people with burnt meth pipes in their mouths or walking around with syringes behind their ears or whatever the case. I don't like that. However, I don't think further punitive measures is the solution.
In fact, addiction experts like Dr. Peter Butt say cutting benefits and pulling other privileges from offenders will likely backfire.
Going to do is to drive more people underground. It's going to create more homelessness on the streets. It's going to create more desperation. Frankly, it's only going to make the problem worse.
Butt says the proposed legislation still leaves him with questions about how this will be enforced and if it will actually work. Dane Patterson, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The province is putting more money into startups focused on sustainable technology. It's investing $1 million into 4 projects. The funding will support companies including EcoLoop Sustainable Technologies. It's developing a process to eliminate harmful chemicals from firefighting foam while creating a new fertilizer. Better Cart Analytics is also a recipient. Its CEO says the AI platform her company is working on could reduce food costs.
The idea is that they will get their pricing right, and by them not overshooting, okay? So they'll be able to understand, you know, should we be at $10.99? No, the answer is no. Consumers are not interested in your products. Even though they're excellent products, you know, you must be between a $4.99 and a $5.99 because that's what the pricing dictates on these shelves.
Morrison says her company wants to share intelligence and data with retailers to help them set better prices. The money comes through the Saskatchewan Advantage Innovation Fund and the Ag Tech Growth Fund. So many people out taking advantage of nice weather in Regina and across the province. That sunshine certainly makes it feel warmer, and we are still hanging out above normal temperatures for this time of year. But how long will it last? Riley Lachuk will have your forecast after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston is charting a path forward on free trade within Canada, tabling a bill aimed at reducing interprovincial trade barriers. But the question is, will other provinces follow suit? Brett Ruskin has more on how industry leaders are reacting.
This new legislation is designed to eat away at those regulatory inconsistencies that exist right now between provinces, and it's designed to do it all in one fell swoop. So if the regulations in BC or Ontario or another province exist that are good enough for those provinces, they would be good enough for Nova Scotia, as long as those provinces also pass similar legislation so that there is free trade in both directions between Nova Scotia and other provinces. So this would drop down trade barriers and open up trade between provinces.
It will allow any goods made in other parts of Canada to be sold in Nova Scotia without further testing, without extra red tape, without any of the foolishness that's happened in the past. The same will be the case for people and service providers, roofers, healthcare workers, teachers, other professionals and service providers who are in good standing.
This is being applauded, this is being encouraged by different business groups like the Canadian Federation for Independent Business, saying that they are looking forward to seeing more provinces sign on to this idea to pass similar legislation in those provinces to really get this idea of interprovincial free trade started. So this is really contingent on the trust existing between different provinces, trust that those regulations in another province will be good enough for your province. So we'll see if other provinces do sign on indeed in the future. Brett Ruskin, CBC News, Halifax.
A live look now out at the city of Regina. It is 1 degree, and as you can see, more daylight for this time of day. And if you were out today, you know the puddles are getting atrocious. And it's only going to get warmer as the week goes on. Riley Lachuk now with a look at your forecast.
Well, Sam, I don't know about you, but I've certainly gone through my fair share of washer fluid these past few days. And yes, we have a few more of these yet to come. Looking at some of your afternoon temperatures at 2 degrees in Regina, 3 in Saskatoon, another above seasonal day by 5-6 degrees in some cases here. And again, double digits in Maple Creek at +10. So yes, lots of melting happening, particularly in that southwestern corner of the province. But there is some accumulating snow coming further north for places like La Ronge into La Loche, looking at a winter storm warning. This area in white looking at up to 20 centimeters of snow by the time we get to Friday morning. This is all the result of another area of low pressure that will cross through the region as we get into the day on Thursday, exiting as we get into Friday morning. So looking at satellite and radar, I mean, we have seen a few clouds kind of rolling through southern and central parts of the province, but this is that first system that exited into Manitoba, bringing a bit of snow, bit of relief. as we got through the afternoon hours, but then things will ramp up again as we get into the day on Thursday. So there's the rest of that system as it pushes off into Ontario. As we get into Thursday morning, the beginnings of our next area of low pressure from Alberta begin to make its way into northern parts of the province, and this will move through as we get through Thursday, exiting by the time we get into Friday morning. I've stopped here early Friday morning because you'll notice some of these pink colors right around the Saskatoon area. Yes, as temperatures dip closer to freezing, we do have that a risk of either some freezing rain or a rain-snow mix as we get through the early morning hours on Friday. I think a pretty slight chance. Saskatoon really right on the edge of this, but certainly along that Highway 16 corridor, we could see a few flurries into the morning and even into the afternoon hours on Friday. Really, though, temperature dependent once again. So the bullseye once again, that northern part of the province looking at another 10+ centimeters of snow, even some regions looking at the potential for even up to 20 centimeters. For southern parts of the province, this is a wind event. So as we get into the afternoon hours on Thursday, looking at winds really picking up, gusting up to 50 or even 60 in places like Regina into Saskatoon, lasting as we get into Thursday before we start to see those winds dying off into Friday. So we are looking at a bit of a windy one as we get through Thursday into Friday. So Regina looking at a high of 4 degrees on the way for Thursday, dipping below freezing briefly as we get to the weekend, and more above seasonal temperatures as we get into next week. Saskatoon looking at a high of 5. There's that chance of some flurries through the morning hours on Friday. And Sam, more melting coming as we get into the week next week once again.
Thanks, Riley. Food, music, and culture, 3 things that turn any place into a home. For Black communities in Regina, finding spaces that reflect their heritage has not always been easy. But as Sarah Onyango reports, that is starting to change.
When you step into the Africa Jazz Lounge, it's not just the rich aroma of slow-cooked stews and grilled meats that greets you. It's the soulful sound of jazz.
I want a real cultural hub for African people to connect, to come together, a space where they can gather and feel like back home.
The Cameroonian-owned lounge is the only place in Regina where jazz and Central African cuisine go hand in hand. Jules Epali and his wife Lorraine moved to Regina in 2022 and opened the lounge just last year.
It was a big decision to make for sure at the beginning because, you know, when you start something new, you are like, okay, would we have enough customer? Is it a good idea? Is it bad?
The Epalis wanted to create a space resembling life in Cameroon, where newcomers and longtime residents could connect.
We used to organize party at home when we have special occasion, Christmas and all the family came to our house to enjoy the party. So, and for me, that's the real sense of the restaurant.
A few kilometers away, De Calabash brings a different energy. Co-owner James Kanu moved to Regina from Nigeria in 2014. 3 years ago, he made his dream of showcasing his Igbo culture a reality.
Nigerians, Africa, West Africa, we party a lot.
De Calabash is all about high-energy nightlife, something co-owner Charles Ume felt was missing from the city when he first moved here in 2018.
I was going to go back to Nigeria because I didn't see a way I could survive, you know, minus 34 and still no place to, you know, kind of go out and have fun.
Since opening in 2022, the lounge has been able to attract Nigerian immigrants, university students, and almost anyone looking for an authentic West African night out.
So even many of them will still be back home. They'll call me, oh, they say, I heard that you own the Calabash in Regina. I am coming.
De Calabash welcomes a diverse mix of people looking to experience the rich culture and vibrant atmosphere.
We want this place to represent it's a safe place for everybody, a home where anybody can come, learn about our culture and be open to share their own culture too.
So, whether it be West or Central Africa, both venues offer more than just a night out. They're creating a sense of home and community in the city. Sarah Onyango, CBC News, Regina.
Pressured by Ball, works it across. Carlson Ovechkin scores! Alex Ovechkin, a power play goal.
One of the greats of hockey inching ever closer to the history books, Alex Ovechkin scoring his 883rd NHL goal Tuesday night. It wasn't enough to win the game for Washington against the Flames, but it was a big move forward for Ovechkin. He's now just 12 goals away for the all-time season record, currently held by Wayne Gretzky. Ovechkin also has now extended his NHL record for 30 goal seasons to a total of 19. We'll be back after the break.
Well, we're looking at partly cloudy skies as we get through the overnight hours. As we start Thursday, here's a look at some of our temperatures through the overnight hours. Looking at temperatures bottoming out around -7 in Regina, -4 in Saskatoon. You'll notice where we have a little bit more cloudy skies, some of that heat able to stay in, and that's going to keep our temperatures slightly warmer through the overnight hours. And yes, Maple Creek above 0 once again overnight, looking at a low of +1. Back to the east, looking at temperatures around -6, -7 into the Parkland region, and some cooler air into the north, where we will see some of that snow moving in as we get into the morning hours on Thursday. Already well underway in places like La Loche, Buffalo Narrows by the morning. By noon, most of us in northern parts of the province into that snow, looking at a high around -2 in La Ronge through the day on Thursday. Southern sections looking at mix of sun and clouds for tomorrow, but as we get through the afternoon, really looking at winds picking up, Sam. And again, a reminder, make sure you stock up on that windshield washer fluid because you're going to need it in the coming days.
And before we go, you've heard about buying Canadian, but what about listening? CBC Music has a new playlist called Famous in Canada, hit songs that only we will remember. And this tune surely stands out. It was featured as the official promotional song for the Vancouver 2010 Winter Olympics. The playlist also features Great Big Seas, Serena Ryder, and Stan Rogers. You can find it on our website. And that is it from us. For more news anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/sask or subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel or download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching.